My name is Mark Garascia. I teach alternative education for at-risk students at Hancock Place High School in the state of Missouri, and I'm a Milken educator. So I went to college to be a teacher. So when I was at St. Louis University, I did major in secondary education and social studies. I student taught, really liked it, but it was right when the market crashed, and so there was a lot of jobs that weren't available as previously, and I was kind of on the impression that, I thought that I was relatively intelligent enough that I could do something and make some money and just be fine with it. At that time, they had just changed things for insurance-wise, so I needed health insurance, and I had a friend who worked at a bank, and he's like, hey, I can get you a job at a bank. And I was like, all right, cool. So I got the job, and I got promoted in about 8 weeks working there and started working on my MBA, and, everything was going fine with that, but as time was going, I just noticed that I didn't have any job satisfaction. I thought the career opportunities, I wasn't interested in moving up in that type of organization as I thought I was, and, I was just, like I said, I was nearing the age of 30, and anytime I would talk to somebody about teaching, they would say that that my mood changed, that that I was visibly more excited about what I was talking about. So in a very risky, and there's a very thin line between bravery and being stupid. I called my now wife and told her, hey, I'm gonna quit, and we'd been talking about it. And she said, all right, that's cool, you can quit. She's like, but you better figure out what you want to do. And at that point, I just put everything I could towards getting back to the classroom, which has always been what I really wanted to do. And I think the experience, in the financial industry was good because I don't take this job for granted. I know this is what I'm meant to do, and if I wouldn't have done that and I just would have went straight into teaching and that's all I would have ever known, I don't know if I would appreciate some of the things about being a teacher that I wouldn't have otherwise. I'm not sure if I answered your question. Well, I'm not a morning person, so that is certainly difficult. But the thing about when I'm here is I always tell people I have school the next day, or I got to go to school. I never say it's work. A lot of people are I got to go to work. For me, once I'm here, I don't mind being here. I don't mind staying late. I don't mind helping, and the motivation that I get on a daily basis is knowing that there are still students who talk to me years after who are like, you made a big difference in my life. You helped me get to where I wanted to be. I wouldn't have graduated without you. And it's obviously self-serving in its own way, but that I know that what I'm doing makes a difference in people's lives, and that they wouldn't be where they're at without me, is something that it makes it worthwhile to be here every day. And I've made some really great relationships with students who have years on by, and then they become lifelong friends. And there's a group of guys I coach soccer with. We do lunches, and just stuff like that, and we talk about playing soccer, and it's really cool that I get to be in the alternative program, and then also get to coach varsity soccer for boys and girls, because it's two really different things, but it's still building those relationships, and like I said, they were more excited than I think I was, and that's just really cool that they care that much about you. Yes, so that's an acronym, and it stands for Providing Alternative Ways to Succeed. So what I do is I do alternative education for at-risk students, and so we have a lot of different strategies and motivational things to try to get students to graduate high school who really are having a variety of circumstances of why they're in an at-risk situation. No student's situation is the same, so it keeps me on my toes. So I always got to come up with new and different ways to try to get through to them. And the cool thing is they really allow me to take each student on an individual basis and do what will work for them, so that they have seen success that they've never previously had in an academic setting. So, the main thing is, and I mentioned, is building those relationships where they can trust me because what I do, I'm not like a typical teacher who has, that we're going to talk about, the Gettysburg Address today, or we're going to talk about the Pythagorean theorem. Each student in my classroom is working on something different. So what I do, is coaching them, setting goals, sometimes just being a counselor, sometimes it's just being a friend and listening to them because a lot of them are going through some tough things in life. And when you build those relationships and then they know that they care about you, then they want to do the work for you, and then it builds into them wanting to do the work for themselves because they can see the success and the things that I tell them that they're capable of doing. Then they start wanting it for themselves in a way, when they've failed every class, previous to that, I wouldn't want to be excited about something that I failed at either. And so them getting that glimpse of success really helps them, make that progress and finally walk across the stage at graduation.